Hello, everyone. Welcome to the official Observer podcast. Thank you for joining us today for our first episode ever. I'm Kevin Donovan, and joining us today is our team of editors. Y'all want to say hi,
Yes.
please? Taya, go ahead.
Okay, cool. What's up? My name's Taya Gonzalez. I am a senior. I am on D&D. I'm just kidding. I'm currently in Skokie, Illinois right now, about 10 minutes from Chicago on the north side. And I am co-editor-in-chief of The Observer.
All right, I'll go next. Hi, my name is Olivia Doak. I am a sophomore, and I am an assistant news editor for The Observer, and I'm currently at home in Crystal Lake, Illinois.
And hey everybody, I'm Brady Johnson. I'm a junior at Augustana. I'm currently in Washington, Illinois, outside of Peoria. And yeah, I'm in the quarantine with the rest of you.
Boo.
I would hope you're in quarantine. That would... Okay, anyway.
I'm not leaving the house, Kevin. Do not
Practice
worry.
social distancing, Brady.
Right. I didn't say it, but I'm a senior. I am the the arts director for the Augustana Observer, and I'm a senior. I'm currently hunkered down on campus in my apartment, whatever you want to call it. So obviously something that's on all of our minds is quarantine. So I just kind of want to talk about how everyone's dealing with that. What are we doing? How are we dealing with it? Yeah, I feel that.
I was at Aldi yesterday and I bought 4 bottles of wine and nothing else. And the only thing that the teller had to say to me after he finished laughing was, "Excuse me, ma'am, could you lower your face mask a bit so that I could see if your ID is really you?"
Oh my gosh.
That's how I am doing. That's how I am doing. My senior year is over, so that's how I'm doing. How are you doing?
I personally have just been treating this as a break, and just taking my time to, rest up, mentally before we start this. No, hell no. Yeah, I travel from my bed to the kitchen about twice a day, and one more time for some extra coffee.
Nice.
Well, I think that I've been doing a pretty good job at keeping myself busy. Been trying not to watch a lot of TV because then I just get really down and lazy, and so I've been journaling, which has been super helpful, and keeping my thoughts good and everything. It just makes me feel better when I see everything on the page. And been working out, and I have a 2,000-piece puzzle in my basement that I've been working on. Yeah, so that's
all
been
of
fun.
us are just becoming elderly in our habits.
Okay, listen to this. No, listen to this. You know what I did the last 2 days?
What did you do?
I made a t-shirt quilt.
You did not.
Yes, I did.
That's insane.
Listen,
that's cool. I think this is my proudest moment. I don't think I've ever been anything.
That's it. You can graduate now, drop out of college. This is it right here.
This is my peak performance.
I'm living in it. I have not been separated from it since I finished it last night.
Incredible.
Wow. You peaked, Duck. That's it. I got into
really
cross-stitching myself and embroidering, so you know that our habits are becoming more and more elderly. I don't know, man.
Well, I saw some girl that I went to high school with. She knitted herself a sweater.
What?
And it looks so good. and I'm like, dang, I was proud of my t-shirt quilt.
So
that just made you look like garbage.
So basically what I'm hearing is we as students have made the transition from being physically young to spiritually elders. And now we're just stressed and old and tired.
This has aged me. I found a gray hair yesterday.
But at least we're warm.
At least we're warm. Yeah, because we're inside. At least none of us have.
No, because we have quilts because we keep knitting.
Oh, I see.
So, another thing I want to talk about is how do we, move forward from this? This is, life-changing. We're being asked to bend in ways we haven't bent before. And specifically as students, this is just going to be a really interesting transition. I'm kind of mentally comparing this to a semester transition, but 2.0. Where it's just going to be this weird phase of trying to figure out how we do this again. How our class is going to change. Obviously that's a big shift. So what is everyone's kind of like expectation for moving forward as a student specifically, and then kind of just as a human being generally?
Ooh, that's a great question, Kevin. Good job.
I practiced. I'm just kidding.
I don't know what to expect because it's a virtual campus now. And there are some things that I cannot do as a senior in my last semester that I cannot do again on campus as a student. Like, I'll never finish my print relief art making class. Like, we're gonna have some trouble with GIS because I don't have the things that I need to do the computer programming stuff.
Right.
And then like ensembles too for choir. Like, I never gonna meet with them again as a student.
Yeah.
But so there is like, for me personally, a sense of loss, but I'm hoping that I will be inspired in the ways that our professors are trying to adapt to the whole situation, that I'm gonna be pushed to be resilient in the same ways that they are too, because I don't think any of us have seen this like in our lifetimes.
No.
In our brief lifetimes. I read somewhere that it was, somebody compared it to like the influenza outbreak, which happened like 100 years ago.
Yep.
So nobody is alive from that. And then World War II and the Great Depression, which those are not fun things to be compared to.
No. I think the United States as a country is still pretty young.
Yeah.
And we really haven't seen, a lot on our turf, I guess. Like when 9/11 Pearl Harbor happened, those were kind of like really shocking to our culture because like war had never happened at home. And now this is kind of like another instance of like, this is happening here. And I don't really know how everyone's taking it. Like, some people are just like, oh, it's nothing. And other people are like, you're wrong. It's something. I don't know. I'm just kind of interested to see how this goes, but I'm also like terrified, obviously. I don't know.
Well, because you see online, like, people are talking about how it feels like we're in like a young adult, like, dystopian novel, and it kind of really does.
Ooh,
I'll definitely never take anything for granted ever again.
Yeah.
This made me really think about
fresh air,
literally, or just seeing people that aren't your family, like,
being
every day.
around other people.
Right. Like, I go on walks and I like see a neighbor and be like staring at them. Like, oh my God, it's another person.
Please say hi to me.
please interact with me, please.
From 6 feet away. That's another thing.
Yeah. Sorry. No, you after you. Yeah.
No, you're good. I was just saying, like, from now on, I am definitely going to be washing my hands for at least 20 seconds, no matter how insignificant it really may be at that time. I'm just so flustered when it comes to like catching a disease this easily now. Never really thought about that.
Frat houses are gonna have to have actual soap. Actual soap, and like a towel for your hands, a hand towel or something.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen.
Yes, it is.
Hand sanitizer on the
Yes, it is. Hand sanitizer, something like toilet paper. Like,
no,
this
you
is
know what's
it.
gonna happen? People are gonna start bringing their own.
Wow, that's cute. It's not BYOB. It's BYO hand
TP.
sanitizer.
BYOTP.
BYOTP. BYO hand soap at HS. That's gonna be fun. That's different.
How do you think this is going to shape our campus coming back? Like, let's assume this ends optimistically sometime during the summer, which is
optimistically.
Okay, look, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm sorry.
Kevin!
And like, how is this gonna shape our campus when we all come back? Like,
don't worry, I just coughed into my elbow, so don't
thanks,
worry.
You're doing great.
Please do not pass that over the I think people will be more social. Maybe we might go to more events that sometimes we kind of brushed off in the past.
Oh my God,
returning,
yeah.
hopefully.
Definitely. Yeah, worry about missed opportunities. I totally agree.
FOMO.
Mm-hmm.
I had to explain that to my mom the other day. She did not understand what FOMO was because people her
teach
age are
our
starting to
viewers,
use
Brady.
it online.
What is FOMO, Brady?
Fear of missing out.
Yeah. Oh, you mean my entire senior year? I'm sorry. I'm so bitter. It's not. I'm not trying to be.
I mean, as a sophomore, like I'm like devastated too. I can't even imagine what it's like to be a senior.
Kevin, what is it like?
It's weird. I mean, you guys know how busy I was, and now suddenly half of that's gone. Like I was in fencing and ultimate frisbee, and suddenly those aren't things I can do anymore. I used to run track and field, and even that's just gone. Like the NCAA is just like, nope, don't do that, please.
Don't touch each other. Please stop touching.
And then like things like orchestra, I mean, newspaper. We're doing our best, but like, it's different. Everything's different, and I don't really know what to do. Like, how do I operate? Like, I don't.
There's gonna be a kind of trauma, I think, associated with COVID-19 that we're not going to fully understand until we're all together again and we can process this as a community.
Yeah.
But I will say, regardless of how this virus is affecting you, whether you're actually staying in your home and not going out and practicing social distancing, or you have a loved one who is a healthcare professional or a first responder or any of those things, like this virus has left no one untouched.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think people really need to understand that, because I still see some peers kind of like having friends over or still going out to places and like not as big as a group as they would, but still small enough and like you can still transfer.
Yeah.
And half of us aren't even showing symptoms when it comes to the young population.
That's really just upsetting to me, because
the thing is,
we're all sacrificing.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And I don't think people understand the magnitude of it either.
Yes.
Because on the news, when you see how many cases there are, those are confirmed cases.
Like, people have it.
People have it, and they aren't getting treated, they aren't seeking treatment, or it's not as bad for some people as it is other people, so they just are able to get rid of it without going to see the doctor. But I just think that's a huge problem that people aren't really realizing either.
My sister is a healthcare administrator in New York City, which is the epicenter of the virus right now. I know, it's really crazy. And she bought a sewing machine so that she could start making masks and PPE, personal protection equipment, PPEs, in her own house, because her hospital is just running out of those materials. So she's invested in. And she keeps texting every morning in our family group chat, like, be careful, practice social distancing. I know it seems like it's not a thing because you see it on your television screen and you're so far removed from it. But when people contract the illness, they either recover or they die alone. Like, that sounds really dramatic, but when you contract the virus, your family is not allowed to come visit you in the hospital. Like, no one is allowed to come visit you. It's just you.
Wow.
It's so sad.
If you pass away, that's it. You pass away alone.
Yeah. I see a lot of that in Italy right now. And it's happening here, like you were saying.
Yeah.
It's insane.
My God. So how do you stay hopeful through all of that? You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, for me, I know that it's gonna, at some point we're gonna get past it. So I try to think about like what like that's gonna be like to finally reunite with all my friends and to finally go back on campus and like what that's gonna be like. And sure, everything's gonna be completely different, but when you think about now, I'm gonna always be grateful for everything, like every moment that I get to spend with a friend, or every moment I get to go out to Target or just go for a walk outside, or just really anything. I feel like I would never take that for granted ever again, and I think that's a really valuable thing that's coming out of this.
Absolutely.
One thing's for sure is this is some interesting experience, and I don't mean that in like a yes, Kevin, we're experiencing something and it's interesting. I mean this like in terms of a crisis management, like from a resume point of view. This is like Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's a really, like, blunt way to look at this, I feel like. I don't know. I'm trying to say something and it's not working right now.
No, that's all right. I hear you. It's like you are gaining a lot of skills that perhaps under normal circumstances you might never have to experience. Like
Right.
holding your family together throughout this whole thing. Like our generation, everyone who's going through this, who is alive right now and like conscious and is not an infant, is going to be able to remember like having to make decisions about what kind of groceries to buy,
Right.
and like is there enough, and what is ethical behavior for you and your neighbors, especially when you're social distancing. Like there's this very specific skill set that we are gaining right now as we adapt to the conditions as both
Right.
humans and also Augustana like digital students. Now this whole thing is uncharted territory, which is really scary, but also, like you said, Kevin, a really great opportunity for us to
Grow.
Exactly.
You know, I don't remember what it was you said in there, but like, you know, years from now people will ask us, like, you know, they ask, where were you on 9/11?
Oh yeah.
Where were you during quarantine?
Right.
Which is, I don't know, kind of weird to think about.
Where were you during quarantine? Well, we were all inside, unless you were an idiot and we're out partying. In which
I was
case,
in Miami. No, please
give
no.
me your name, and I will find you through your email, because I won't actually see you.
I think my family is beckoning me for family dinner, so I'm gonna have to depart now.
Yeah.
All right.
Are
Thank you
you
for
all
joining us
6
today.
For allowing me to be involved.
That must be a really big table if you're all 6 feet apart.
Honestly, I'm getting ready to say we have to be, but you know,
Yikes.
we'll see.
All right. Thank you for joining
too.
us.
Take care of yourself. Bye. I think what's important to remember as we're about to... Sorry, let me phrase it again. I think what's important to remember as we are starting our school year over again through our screens is that everybody is trying their best to do this. Everybody is trying their very best. And there are things that might not work. There might be just kinks in the system, but we have to be gentle and patient with each other and remember that, I don't know, personally for me, I think about my ancestors and how they survived famine and wars and slavery and colonization and all of that stuff. And if they can survive all of that, I'm gonna be okay in my little house, talking to my friends over the phone, over FaceTime, and doing my best to do those readings on Moodle. Like there are going to be problems, but everyone is trying their best.
Right.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking that, like, I know it doesn't feel like we're together, but we really are in this together.
We are.
Like, together doesn't always just mean a location, you know? It's like, it's more than that. It's like we're here for each other, and it means we can do, you know, what we need to do because of the resolve we can give one another.
Mm-hmm. We call that social capital in my environmental studies SI class. Thank you. So see, look, I learned something. I did learn.
Cut. That's a wrap. I'm just kidding.
I mean, just remembering that at some point everything is going to return to some level of normalcy, and just make the best of the situation that we're in, because there are good things about it too.
All right. Well, thank you both for joining me today. Joining us today.
Thank you.
We hope to continue this podcast on a weekly, if not more frequent basis. At least that's my hope. But yeah, see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.